So I'm gonna try to make this real quick. The answer is no. He's not lying about his military service. And if you do some looking around, you'll see a couple things that make it make sense, right? So JD Vance and the Republican Party have been coming out and saying that Tim Walz is lying about his service in terms of what he did during his service and the position he retired at. And pretty much what they're saying is that he avoided deployment by retiring. And he was doing this during his campaign for Minnesota at the time. This was back in 2005. So I did a little bit. I'm going to reference everything I talk about. I looked at a couple different articles. Every article I looked at, I'm going to put in the description. I looked at a bunch. I wanted to see a bunch of different perspectives, any different stories, and I'm gonna give you guys pretty much what they're saying, what they're not saying, and what they mean by it. So pretty much, back in 2005, in February, Tim Walz has official paperwork to be running for the position he's running for in Minnesota. Okay. The next month, he puts out a press release. This is a press release talking about the chance that his unit gets sent over to Iraq. Okay? And then he retires in May. So, as far as I understand it, to retire, you have to retire a couple of months ahead of time. They are trying to find that timeline. So, when we see that, maybe there'll be an update. Maybe I'll be completely wrong. But as far as I know, the National Guard had not officially announced any type of deployment. This was unofficial at the time. Also, because if he were to get those orders, he did this in February. He started there's official paperwork. If you have paperwork, let's be honest, that was February 10th. He had to fill that out. He had to know he was going to do it. He made that decision before he filled that paperwork out that he was going to run for the position. So if that's the case, then he probably knew since January that he's going to be running from this. So again, when we find out when he officially put in paperwork to retire, we'll know. But it was still a chance. And then even when you're looking at the chance, they didn't find out official orders until July. His unit didn't. And then they didn't even leave till 2006. Another thing that makes me think that the Republican Party, or at least JD Vance, is being a little weird about this is because this also came up. This is something they bring up every time Tim Walz is running against an opponent. I think they brought it up in 2007. They brought it up in 2018. I think they brought it up in 2022. So this is like something they do every time, and it's proven wrong pretty much every time. I feel like if there's going to be new information to be found out, we would have known by now, especially with the type of people who can find out information. And people in the military don't play with this kind of stuff. He's had people in his unit and people who don't even like him come out and defend him, tell him that's exactly what happened, that it was right for him to leave. He had retired before then. There was no dishonorable anything. There is someone who came out in 2018 who said pretty much, I want you to know that he was doing this to avoid this. And you have that guy, but the rest of his battalion is saying otherwise. So it's really it makes me want to believe that he's telling the truth. Again, let me talk about something that makes me think the Republican Party is lying. So another thing that's been talking about is they said Tim Walz has been saying that he retired at a rank that he didn't actually retire at. He actually retired a rank lower. The problem with that is when you look into that, he had gotten, while he was in the service, he got the promotion a couple months before he retired. So he got that promotion, okay? But then he retired. They went back and reverted his rank because when he got the promotion, you're supposed to go to training to go finish that out, do some coursework. Same thing with any promotion. If you ever got doesn't matter what job you have. Usually when you get, well, it does matter what job you have. And I feel like most jobs, even lower level jobs, if you get a promotion, Usually there's some type of certificate or training that you have to go to, some type of meeting at like a headquarters. I'm trying to think of the name. Headquarters is the closest thing I think of. And then you come back and then you have that position and then you get trained in that position. So he retired before he did that. So he got the promotion, but they reverted it because he never. If he would have stayed in, he would have had that promotion. So that's why when they're saying that and people are focusing on that, I think it's a little disingenuous. Not a little, it's a lot. Effectively, he was going to do that job and he retired. That's the end of it. Anyone who's still here or finished the end of the video, I appreciate you for watching. Um, the concept of this channel is for me to really talk about things that I really am interested in or something that I want to get into that I don't know enough about and just dive in deep and do the research myself. Politics is something that I've been interested in for a while, but I don't think I know enough to start talking about it in term like I want to do some more research before going too deep, but this was something I could just look into quickly. I'm actually really looking into how policies and our government is ran and really looking into that stuff and educating myself on how this stuff works so I can really give an educated opinion on it. But I really want to have the conversation with you guys, and I'm not going to sit here and say, because I want to get into politics, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's blue all the way for me. And I just don't, I'm not going to hide that from you guys. I just want to have an unbiased view. I don't want to say, oh, I'm in the middle and I blue every time. That doesn't make any sense. You're not in the middle. You just portray, no. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you why I think it. With that being said, I don't want to be biased. I want to start looking at things like when we have conversations, I always see this person versus this person. Well, no. Because what we really want to look at is policy versus policy, right? I want to look at policy versus policy, what they have done, what they've promised, what they will do, what they haven't done, what they say they've done and haven't done. Like just to see and really understand what we're doing here. These are things I want to do and things I'm going to do when it comes to Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. Look at what policies they've done, compare it to each other, what promises they've made, and who's finished on them, and what bad policies they've like. Just all of that. And I'm going to compare, and I want to be able to show that to you guys. I want a different type of conversation. We don't have to have this person versus this person. Let's just look at what they did. And I want to start fact checking a lot of things. If someone on one side does something wrong, just because I like that side doesn't mean I have to agree with them. So that's something I want to do. Sorry, this was supposed to be a quick outro. Ended up being 2 minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I want to get into politics. How do you guys feel about that? And I'll probably be talking about more stuff that I just like in general. Like, probably going to be talking about Super Vibe. I like games too. All right. Sorry. Peace. You guys go.